So, welcome. Today, Academic Daddy will be teaching you how to go about questions related to vector. Here, I have calculate the distance between 2, comma 5, or brackets, and then bracket open 5, comma 9. Whenever you see this type of question in physics, know that this is talking about, the first one is talking about x. The second one tells you about y. Now, this means x. This means y. Now, if that be the case, it simply means that this is the sentence saying uh, x plus x, then y plus y. Then there's and here, which means all plus. So this is the sentence saying 2 plus 5 is supposed to give me 7. Supposed to give me 7. Shebi? And this one is supposed to give me 14. But notice something. Because I see distance, instead of this being plus now, notice if it's in mathematics we'll collect it, but because I see distance, instead of this being plus, it simply means that it is something that moves from a particular space to a particular space. To get the actual space, this means that this is going to be final minus initial. So this is the sentence saying x2 minus x1. Here you got the sentence saying y2 minus y1. So instead of doing it the way you could have done it in maths, this is now how you go about it. So that this becomes 9 minus 5. So when you do the maths, this will give you 3. And this will give you 4. Now, whenever you're treating this kind of question, you need to know that once you're given this kind of question, it means they are telling you about component vectors. Anything that has to do with x, attach I to it. Anything that has to do with y, attach z to it. Assuming it's 3 component vectors, you add z. So this is vector on 2 plane. So since I know this now, to now find the resultant is simply the opposite of resolution of vectors. Whenever you have 2 vectors, resultant is simply putting the 2 together such that a single force is equal to the magnitude of this. While resolution of vector is simply whenever you have one vector, is you splitting it into 2. So to find the resultant of this, since it's just 2, is the sentence saying put this on a triangle where I see that y-axis is 4, x-axis is 3. Now the resultant is what I don't know. So since it's this way, this will now be such that I use Pythagoras to do r square equals to x square plus y square. So that this becomes r square equals to 3 square plus 4 square. That is the distance. This is also called displacement or distance. And I told you distance and displacement are the same thing when they are not talking about direction. So this is 9 plus 16 r square. R square is equal to take the square root of both sides. So this is my resultant and this is my distance. Now in a situation where they tell me to find the direction, this will now be tan theta, the direction. Is that if they ask you to find displacement, distance, whichever one, this is how to find it. But if they ask you to find the direction, is now tan theta is always equals to sine over cos, and sine theta is the same as y, and cos theta is the same as x. So this is the same as saying 4 over 3. 4 divided by 3, and this is equals to 1.333. I used all these decimal points because the more decimal points you have, the more the accuracy. So this is now presented as theta equals to tan inverse 1.333. So to punch tan inverse, simply punch shift tan, then open bracket, put all these things. So I do shift tan, open bracket, 1.33, close the bracket, so that I get 53.12. So that is my theta. So theta is approximately 53 degrees. So this is my direction. This is my direction. So if I want to show this now, if they tell you show this in vector form, to represent your answer in vector form, is something as saying 3i plus 4j. And this is happening at 53 degrees, which is the sentence as saying, uh, 5, that is direction 5 this way, then I have comma 53 degrees. So whichever way you choose to represent it, this is how you have it. So let's move to the second question. The second question is this. I have two forces of 7 Newton and 5 Newton act on a body, and the angle between them is 55 degrees. Find the resultant and the angle between it and the two forces. So you are even lucky they have a diagram given to you. They say two forces, 7 Newton and 5 Newton, act on a body, and the angle between them is 55 degrees. Find the resultant and the angle between it and the two forces. So this is what I have. So if I see this kind of question, what I need to do is to first of all ask myself, they said two forces. Question say two forces. So taking note of what the question is talking about, I will now say two forces, and they gave me 7 Newton and 5 Newton. They say it acts on a body at an angle. That means theta is given. The angle between them is 55 degrees. And I say find the resultant and the angle between the resultant and the two forces. So let's analyze this. See this parallelogram. If you remember, I told you parallelogram is tail and tail. Look at the tail. This tail and this tail, they meet. Now it says that the resultant can be found. The resultant can be found using the diagonal. So if that be the case, let's make use of this now. Now the angle between the resultant and the force is this way. So let's first of all find the resultant. Now to find the resultant is simply the sentence using, whenever it has to do with parallelogram, the best way to go about finding your resultant, because you can see that this parallelogram now, this 55 degrees is less than 90 degrees. They can tell you find the acute angle, but this way they give us the acute angle. Acute angle are angles below 90 degrees. Whenever the angle is below 90 degrees, you use cosine rule. Whenever it's equals to 90 degrees, you use Pythagoras. So using cosine rule, I have that r square is equals to f1 square plus f2 square plus 2f. If you don't understand this formula, watch my first video, I explained it. 2f1 f2 cos theta. So how we derive this formula is in the first video I posted. so that this becomes r squared is equals to force given to me. First force is 7 square plus second force is 5 square, then 2 into 7 times 5, then cos 55 degrees. This all makes sense when you understand that for the fact that is less, the angle given is less than 90, you must make use of. Notice that 55 degrees is, if I have this now and I have this and I strike out 60, so let's say I strike out that 60 here, 55 degrees is somewhere here, somewhere here. So that is why you have this now. So you need to know this. So since I have this angle, whenever it's less than 90, use cosine rule. So if I know this, I'll now punch 7 square is 49, 5 square is 25, plus 7 times 5, I know it's 35. Then if I put 2, let me just be doing it accordingly, cos 55 degrees. So I have that this is the same thing as saying 49 plus 25 is 74, plus 35 times 2 is 70 cos 55. And you remember board mass, you must do multiplication before adding up. So I have cos 55. Let's look for cos 55. Cos 55 degrees is the same thing as 0.5735. Okay, and let me call this 8, then 70 plus 74. Remember, we are still carrying our r square. So this is the same thing as saying 70 times 0.5735. So this is the same thing as 40.1506 plus 74. So plus 74 equals to 114.1506 r squared. So take the square root of both sides. Because of this will cancel, because we want to make r subject of the form, so that r becomes square root of 114.1506. 114.1506. So this is the same thing as 10.6841. So this is r is approximately 11, and you know that this r, since this is force, the r is always the displacement. So it is when you're bringing these two forces and making it to be the same thing as just one force. So this can be represented as 11 Newton, but assuming the question say find the displacement or find the result or find the distance, it can also be in meter, 11 meter. So whichever way. So now that you know this, remember they said find, let's go back to the question. The question said find the resultant and the angle between it and the two forces. The angle between it and the two forces is in such a way that, watch, this is now, there's an invisible angle here, so that this becomes our y, and this becomes our, let's say I call this one d. So this becomes our formula, which is tan theta is equals to y all over x, and in this case x is always cos. So x is the same thing as 7. This 7. X is the same thing as, okay. X is the same thing as the 7 I see here. Then everything here. So 7 plus cos theta. Should it? Yes. So why? Because there's an angle here. There's an angle here. There's an angle theta here. Why my y is simply f sine theta, and f here is 5 vertical. So this is going to be f sine theta. That is, and remember, please remember that when you do this, it's also going to be f, that is this f1. So this is 5 cos theta, and this is going to be 5 sine theta. So if you don't understand how we are coming with this formula, where we are getting this formula, go and check my first video, how to find the angle between resultants and each force. So whenever you are finding the angle between resultants and each force, just know that the formula is simply f1 sine theta all over f2 plus f1 cos theta. So if you can note this formula, so plug in what we have that this is tan theta equals to 5 times times sine, remember that this is the same thing as 5 sine 55 degrees all over 7 plus 5 cos 55 degrees. Remember, so if we solve this, we now have that this is the same thing as 5 times 0.8192 all over 7 plus 5 times 0.5736 equals to 4.096 all over 9.868 equals to 0.4151. So that means this is tan. So if the angle now is tan equals to tan inverse 0.4151. So that when you solve this, you have that this is 22.5 degrees. So the angle between them is 22.5 degrees. So that means that for you to now get the angle between they said find the angle the resultant and the angle between the two forces. So the angle between this particular one, this resultant, and this particular force is 22.5 degrees. So the angle between this resultant and this particular one, now this one and this one, will now be this minus this angle, so that it now becomes, that is, it now becomes for that particular AOB, angle AOB is going to be 55 degrees minus 22.5 degrees, which is equals to 32.5 degrees. So this is it. Thank you for watching. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. Academic Daddy.